So a brief history about our center, the Pregnancy Center. This year we celebrate our 25th anniversary, and 25 years ago God called a very unlikely pair to start the Pregnancy Center. Me, I was an ex-banker, unqualified, unequipped, had no idea how to start a pregnancy center, and my partner was a retired doctor entering into the priesthood at age 75. We opened our doors in 1998, and if anybody's familiar with All Souls Catholic Church in Sanford, you knew Father Al, and Father Al was a doctor before he became a priest. And so he was my co-founder and my beloved Apostle Paul, if you want to say, and he died 3 years after we opened our center. And then in 2011, we opened up our second center in Oviedo. And then in 2014, we became a medical facility on wheels, and we opened up we call it the Palmobile. In your brochure, you'll see a picture of that. And that mobile is an outfitted 25-foot Mercedes Sprinter that is outfitted as a medical facility, and it travels throughout Central Florida in Castleberry, Apopka, Lake Mary. We go to the colleges, and we've gone to the abortion clinics. And so that's what we do with the medical mobile unit. And then in 2020, the year of COVID, God called us to open up a center in Winter Park on Lee Road. And then just recently, we expanded our Sanford location, creating a medical wing. So I welcome any of you ladies, if you want to get involved with our pregnancy center, if you want to come in and take a personal tour of what we do, I'd love to have you. In these 25 years, our mission has remained the same, and that is that we exist to provide alternatives to abortion by modeling the love of Jesus Christ through compassionate lay counseling and resources to empower her to choose life for her baby. One of our greatest honors in the last 25 years is receiving the Benementry Award from Pope Francis in 2018. And while I'm not a Catholic, I am a sister in Christ, and this award goes to a non-Catholic doing kingdom work. So it is a huge honor that we had received. A little bit about our center is that our primary service is to verify pregnancy. Women that come into our center, they're in the mind frame of, I think I'm pregnant, and if I am, I don't know what I'm going to do. So what we do is we verify pregnancy by doing pregnancy testing, ultrasound, presenting all of their options, providing referrals and resources for housing, for maternity home, for legal, for medical. So that's our primary service. Since we become medical in 2014, the Knights of Columbus has gifted us 5 sonograms, and we're grateful for that. And that has happened primarily through the Labs for Life that's often held here. So every month between our three centers, our Sanford location, our Winter Park location, and our mobile unit, we see about 300 women each month. And our success rate is about 87% of women that choose life for their babies. Who are our clients? People often ask, who is the young girl that comes into our center? She's around 15 to 28 years old, but the truth is what she looks like and who she is our daughters. She is our daughter. She's our granddaughters. She's the girls in our youth group. She's the girls at the checkout lane at Chick-fil-A. A crisis pregnancy does not discriminate. Some of the challenges that we face at our pregnancy center, and for all the pregnancy centers in Central Florida, is how do we target the young girl to come into our center before she goes to an abortion clinic. Back in the day, 25 years ago, when I started this center, again, it was the phone book. Again, you all remember that. You ask anyone today, what's the phone book? Nobody knows that. But today's generation, whether you're rich or poor, every girl has a smartphone. And so we have to spend a lot of money on marketing efforts and on website presence and social media so that she'll find us. Because of Roe v. Wade being overturned, and that's a huge victory for the pro-life community, it's also created what I call the law of unintended consequences. Our work has gotten harder. A lot of folks think that Roe v. Wade stopped abortion, and it hasn't. It's actually created more hostility in the movement. Our clients are colder, they're harder to reach, they're desperate, and they're unwilling to hear the truth. So our challenge is even greater to save these babies and their mothers from abortion. But our biggest challenge right now in our movement is the abortion pill. Right now, over 50% of abortions are performed chemically. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but today a young girl can go and order these pills online, essentially making every dorm room and every bathroom into an abortion clinic. And what that's going to create is a tidal wave of post-abortion trauma, and that it's coming, and it's going to be in a wave that we've never imagined. And this is why I'm here today. I'm segueing into the reason, if your organization chooses to grant us this gift, these funds are going to go towards our new post-abortion healing program. This program will offer 4 8-week sessions at our Sanford and Winter Park locations. Again, these funds will help cover the program expenses of a service that will provide free to either the women that come into our center or to women in our community, because we're going to promote this to the churches and to organizations that we offer this post-abortion counseling. The benefit of having a post-abortion healing will include, well, the number one is seeing women set free from the emotional pain and shame of a past abortion. This program will also help us lead women to God's grace and forgiveness, and helping them forgive themselves for a decision that they made. It will also save babies, because most women who've had one abortion will have a second one and a third one. It will also prevent women from being groomed into the abortion industry and the pro-abortion agenda. And the thing that it's really going to do, it's going to break the cycle of a generational sin. And what I mean by that, the generational sin in the pro-life movement is often referred to the 18-18-18 rule. And what that means is a young girl will come to us when she's 18 years old, or I'm take that back. She'll be 18 years old when she has an abortion. She'll go back in 18 months to have her second abortion, and in 18 years, this young or this post-abortive mother will be taking her daughter to an abortion clinic. So that's what post-abortion healing is going to do. It's going to stop that generational curse from a mother taking her daughter to an abortion clinic.
Are you already helping these women right now before you get this extra money?
Yes, we've actually implemented this program last year. Up until last year, for the last 24 years, we've been pretty much kind of outsourcing post-abortion counseling to, other counselors that do that. And what we have found that is it wasn't very successful, because most women didn't want to go to another office. And the fact that we had a relationship with them already, and part of our intake is asking them, have you ever had an abortion? And when they tell us they have, we'll ask them, how are you coping with that? And we'll talk to them about what post-abortion trauma looks like. And if they see themselves in that, we tell them, there's healing for you. It doesn't have to be this way. And so that's why we're starting our own program, so that we can essentially offer it in-house. And so we started it last year, and we've had 4 sessions already. And like I said, every session is an 8-week session from beginning to end.
Who does the sessions? Are they counselors or?
Yes, they're trained counselors. They've all been trained by Lori Wren, who has a ministry called Reveille in Lake Mary. And she's a professional counselor, and she trains them in the area of post-abortion. So really what's happening in this 8-week session, it's not a psychiatrist. It's essentially, we are facilitating a Bible study called Forgiven. And well, actually, it's in your brochure, but it's a curriculum that we're facilitating. Our main and our only source of income is privately. We don't receive anything from the government, and there are funds available in the state of Florida, close to about $20 million that is available for pregnancy centers. But we've opted not to take it, because we are a faith-based organization, and we don't want them to have any entanglement of how we present our services and how we minister to the clients. So, but yes, we're privately funded. Our biggest fundraisers are the baby bottle campaign that, churches will collect bottles. We also have a Walk for Life. Next year, we're going to have a banquet, our celebration. We're going to have Abby Johnson. I don't know if anyone's heard of her. She's the woman who was part of that movie Unplanned. And so she's going to be at our banquet. But primarily, 100%, it's private donations from churches, from ladies groups, to private families, and then our fundraisers.
I had the opportunity to visit, and one of the things that impressed me the most was how you tithe. Could you explain to the group how you tithe and where that money gets invested?
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's usually not something I brag about because people might think if you're tithing, then what do you got, money in the backyard to burn? You're making so much money that you give away. But the truth is, this ministry belongs to God. And 25 years ago, we asked for his blessings, we asked for his favor. And just like me personally and most Christian families, is you give 10% away. And so we did that. 25 years ago, we hardly had anything. And so every month we take 10% of our income and we set aside and we put it in our missions account. And about 10 years ago, I was invited by a friend of mine to go to Costa Rica. Well, let me back up. So what we used to do with the 10% is just give it to other pregnancies around the country. We would help mothers who needed their electric bill paid or something like that. It was solely really for pregnancy centers and for mothers in need. But about 10 years ago, a friend of mine invited me to Costa Rica. She had a friend who was considering donating a house to start a pregnancy center. And so we went there, and as it turns out, we started a pregnancy center in Jaco, Costa Rica. And my friend is part of a ministry called Beautiful Feet International, and she's committed herself to starting pregnancy centers all over the world. So every month I contribute close to $1,000 to her ministry. And like I said, 10 years ago, we started one pregnancy center, and she has over 100 pregnancy centers around the globe. And again, our ministry gets to be a part of that. So when someone is donating to us, obviously you're supporting 3 centers, but you're also making a difference to pregnancy centers all over the country. So thank you for asking.